Hi, I'm Jack Berry. I'm here at the Otsego Club up in beautiful Gaylord, Michigan, and talking to Keith Gornick, who has a lot of history here in Gaylord, wonderful history going way, way, way back. And we're going to get Keith to talk about the Otsego Club, about how it started as a ski area, and then he became real interested in golf, and it wound up being the Gaylord Golf Mecca. And we're going to start way back. Keith?
That we are. Welcome, Jack. It's great to have you here in Gaylord. And how apropos that we're here at the Otsego Club on an absolutely white-out, snowy day in early March. And it does happen. So lake effect, and who comes in early for a little golf?
It's pure Michigan is what they call this.
It's pure Michigan. How true.
Now, we had a lot of big names coming up to northern Michigan to do golf courses. Tom Fazio and Robert Trent Jones over at Treetops, and Tom Doak was down at the Black Forest, and just some of the best. And Jack Nicklaus over at Grand Traverse. And then you had an idea that maybe we needed another golf course. Is that correct? And
Jack, how true. And we truly did. We sat down with our team and did some forward projections, and just realized that we had to have at least 36 holes of golf connected with this property to really make it work for groups, for weddings, for conferences, and to really get the occupancy that we needed in the hotel rooms and so on. So with that, we started looking for golf course architects and land planners and so on who would be sensitive, and that's the key word, sensitive, to this exquisite piece of property. I mean, this is not a cornfield in Nebraska. It has many ups and downs. It's the headwaters of the Sturgeon River, some beautiful wetlands, some great highlands, and elevation changes and so on. So it's one that was really required the right person. And we interviewed so many really fine architects. And I won't name them because, why not? All good people. And at a golf conference in Monterey, happened to meet Gary Koch and Rick Robbins. And we really hit it off. And I liked the way that they were discussing their various other projects that they had done here and abroad. And their belief in pretty much leave it alone as much as possible, and so on. So that sort of perked my ears up a little bit. So with that, I said, I have some land up in northern Michigan, and why don't you come take a look? And one of the comments was, well, all right, Mr. Gornick, but it probably takes about 180 to 200 acres to really make a nice golf course. And I said, all right. Well, I think we have that. And I said, well, and if you have a little bit more than that, that would be nice. And I said, yeah, I think we could probably supply a little bit more. So, exactly. So with that, I said, actually, why don't you guys come up and just for starters, I'll give you 1,000 acres to work with. And but fly up, take a look at it. So they did. They looked at the topos. We walked the property, and they said, "You mean we have all of this to play with?" And I said, "Absolutely, guys, have at it." And that they did. And I said, "Here are some basic parameters. Number one, I want you to move as little earth as possible, and that's not an economic decision, but look at this beautiful land. Why don't you find out, God created the land, if you will, and why don't you figure out where to place the tees and the greens and the fairways?"
think people love that part of it. I mean, you have so many elevated tees, the drop shots, which everybody it's the most fun shot in golf, and you've got more than one of them, and you just look out over this beautiful country up here, and then you get down to where the Sturgeon River kind of bubbles through down there. It's just beautiful property.
Truly a blessing. And again, that goes back to the concept of stewardship. I said, really just work with what's here. And those two guys, words really cannot describe
Well, I think Gary Koch, commentator on Golf Channel and NBC and so forth, does a terrific job. I think he's very sensible, and even though he comes from the flatland in Florida, why he appreciates what you've got here.
I'm Gary Koch, former PGA Tour player, played on the PGA Tour for 15 years. Over the course of about the last 10 or 11, I've been involved in covering golf on television, also involved in the golf course design business. Having done probably about 10 or 11 projects now over the course of about the last 10 years as well. When we first came and made the visit and saw the piece, Mr. Gornick informed us it was close to 1,100 acres, which when you're designing a golf course is a real luxury to have that expanse of property to be able to choose from and to look at and to figure out where the golf holes should go. It's a golf course that I think the average player can go out and play and have a lot of fun playing. A signature hole. Certainly the first one that would come to mind would be the third hole. When you stand on the third tee and on a beautiful day you can see probably 30 plus miles. And if that doesn't capture the essence of this piece of property, then I don't know what does. Then I would say the next would probably be the seventh hole, which is a par 5 that is down on the lower portion of the property, down along the riverbed. It's a beautiful par 5 that kind of moves in two different directions, a little bit left to right off the tee and then slightly back right to left as you get closer to the green. But it just fits the flow of the land absolutely beautifully. It just sits right in there very naturally, trees on both sides, a nice little pond in front of the green. I mean, it captures the essence of that piece of the property in my mind. And then you come to the 18th hole. And again, the vista from the tee, looking up the hill, the beautiful green grass, the white sand, shows you about the elevation change of the golf course and how you can play downhill sometimes and it's real easy and uphill sometimes and it's a little bit harder. I think it turned out as well, if not better, than what we had envisioned as we were going through the process of construction and putting everything together. I think it's something that we'll be very, very proud of, and I think the people here at the Otsego Club will be very proud of it as well.
My name is Rick Robbins. Unlike my predecessor here, Gary Koch, I'm not quite as well known on the television, having not played professional golf. I've been a golf course architect for almost 30 years now. And you get to hole 12 and 13, and they're out in the open once again in the open farm fields. So, just a lot of different opportunities for people to experience different kinds of golf, all in the same 18-hole round, but all very complementary. All of the greens complexes, all of the way the tees are set up, the way the fairways work, it's the same throughout the entire 18-hole experience, even though they're very different environments there. I think the 9th hole is visually just a beautiful golf hole. It's carved out of an area where a really pretty set of streams cross that hole 3 times. A lot of bridges to go across the wetlands. It's almost all marsh and wetlands from the tees to the green, and a big par 3. It's about 218 yards from the back tees. And then a lot of subtle areas. I think the second shot into the second hole, par 4, that green was one that we left almost exactly on the natural ground. We did no grading to that green site whatsoever, just really took a tractor and box blade and smoothed it out. But it's really a nice shot into that hole, and so a lot of areas out there in particular shots, maybe not the entire hole, are really pretty spectacular. I think that it has turned out to be a fun, challenging course that the average resort player who may be families, maybe groups of guys coming up from southern Michigan or other places can come out here and really have a good time and enjoy it and feel like they're out. And one of the nicest things is there's absolutely nothing out there once you get out there on that course, but just natural native areas. And so, you know, guys can go out there, have a great time playing golf, and just feel like you're in nature and nothing else is happening.
One of the things that that was so much fun is to just see how people are really enjoying that magnificent golf course. And a number of people say, well, how did the name come about? And we were thinking of so many different things. But in 1998, I lost my father. My father passed away. And Gary's father passed away also. And we thought, you know, what a fitting thing. Let's name this the Tribute. A tribute to Alan Gornick, who built all this, arguably, and to Gary's father, and to two great fathers who gave us a love of golf and the land and that sort of thing. A tribute to the game of golf, a tribute to the property.
Right.
And so there it is, the tribute. And as corny as it might sound, but every day is Father's Day.